If you have one of these and you film outside in the summertime, you've probably had some overheating issues. I have. Now, I'm a fisherman and I record myself fishing. And I think that's fairly unique, the way that fishermen use GoPros. We put up a full-time power setup in the back of the boat, and we turn the camera on and we film the entire trip. We overheat in the summertime because of the continuous filming when there's direct sunlight. So real quickly, to summarize, the normal solutions have been: don't charge the battery while filming, remove the battery door, update the firmware, reduce your resolution, but I don't want to do that, probably you don't either. Reduce your frame rate. Also don't want to do that because that affects the quality of the footage that I'm trying to put out. I'm an engineer, so I'm a problem solver. I brainstormed the issue a few times, came up with some complex answers and some simple answers. And today I've got a simple answer for you. I have solved the problem of my GoPro Hero 8 overheating in the direct sunlight in Mississippi summers. I'm going to try to make this video very short as I can make it and get the information out to you. I pulled this video up in front of all the other content that I've got ready to make videos with, because this is important to solve this problem right now, because in a couple of months it won't even matter. So it's late July, it's hot as blazes, and this is a real problem right now for fishermen and other people who use GoPros in the sun for extended periods of time. All right, so here's the setup. Both cameras will be mounted on a monopod, tripod conglomeration. I've got them clamped together so they're in the same place. I'll keep both cameras at the same angle so that they have the same exposure to the sun. They're at the same height, of course. Both will be powered by an external power supply. The screens, of course, will be kept facing the sun as I described. As far as the filming setup, 5-minute looping, 1080/60 linear, and I'll have hyper smooth on a high, which I understand that's a factor in overheating, but that's how I want to film, and that's the objective, is to be able to film the way I want to. So here's the testing procedure. I'm going to stay out there and keep the screens facing the sun. It's important that you get that maximum exposure to make sure that you have conditions that will make the cameras overheat. And I'll record until that happens. And then I'll install the best airflow, which is a complex system, on the right-hand camera. Then I'll turn them both back on and record until the left-hand camera overheats. That's my control to make sure the conditions are still good. Then I'll install the simple airflow system on the left-hand camera. And then I will record with both cameras until either they shut off or the day begins to cool. So here's the complex system that has the most airflow. You can see down on the bottom there that it's a small squirrel cage fan. And I made an adapter out of PVC pipe to mount it and to transition the air from the fan into this clear vinyl hose. And that hose runs up and is inserted into the battery bay of the camera, which allows you to blow air into that opening and remove heat and hopefully cool the camera. This system is very simple, but it has very low airflow. As you can see, it's a small computer component cooling fan, and I'm just tying it to the side of the GoPro and aiming it into the battery bay. This fan matches the side profile of the GoPro really well and allows space above the fan for air to flow out of that battery chamber. Let's pick up in the middle of testing. So both fans are installed here, but they're offset by an hour in timing due to some complications with the left-hand camera. After both cameras overheated at the beginning of the test, I installed the cooling system to the right-hand side and turned the cameras back on. And it took me an hour to realize that the left-hand camera was off and I didn't know it because the beep was turned off. So I remedied the problem, restarted the camera, and it turned off within 5 minutes. This is good indication that we have the conditions that we're trying to improve, making this a really good test. Listen to this fan and you'll see why I use the tube to move the fan away from the camera. This little fan, you can hear it. It does make noise, but only a small amount of that translates into the video sound. Clear tube, flexible tube, ran it up here and inserted it into the battery bay. So it's blowing 95-degree air into the battery bay, which is fine because you're just trying to keep this camera below 150. Now this one is probably going to be the one that's most practical. It's a tiny little fan for cooling computers or computer components. And I've just got it tied where it blows directly in the battery bay. So here's what we're looking for, the results, right? So I was able to put the cameras out there in conditions that would make them overheat. And both cameras shut off about 150 degrees F. So the complex system was quite effective. So it recorded for 4 hours from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 5 o'clock. And the simple system was also effective. It recorded for 3 hours without overheating. And for both of those, I actually stopped the test because we had some cloud cover move in at around 5 o'clock and it cooled everything down. So neither one of them actually overheated. And I did some sound testing and there was almost no effect on sound. Very, very little for either system. Now, what are we going to do in the future to improve? Mounting systems. It's all about mounting systems at this point. And I'm going to focus on this little guy. I'm not going to do anything for the other one because it's not really practical. So I did find a decent way to mount this little guy here. So I took a rubber band and I inserted it through these holes. The holes are 2 millimeters in diameter. So I cut the end of the rubber band at an angle so I could slide it in the holes and tied off one end. Put it here. So here's the camera. It's going to sit on top of this. Okay, sit it here. Grab the rubber band. The way I did this is it would easily go underneath the lens, so it doesn't affect that. And then it crosses around by the power button and then comes back up to this. Important factor here, leaving enough room for the air to escape. So it's blowing air in through here, it's coming out here. So this is a pretty effective mounting technique. I wish I thought of this when I was doing the testing. It would have made it so much easier to just put it on there. No tying braided line or anything like that. But so I'm going to test this on the boat and see how it performs. If it stays on while I'm running, then I'm done. I'm not going to create anything new unless I decide to make a sunshade type of GoPro housing to keep the sun off of it. That was an idea I've had before, but this actually popped in as a more engineering level solution I wanted to try. So I think we got it. All right, now do me a favor, click down below, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. And one of the most important things I want you to do now is I want you to comment on this video. Give me your ideas, maybe even go try this. Because I'm going to give you links down below. They're affiliate links. I'll give you links down below to the things that I used in this video. I'd like for you to try them, see if they help you. Let me know how it went for you.